What's up, guys? Welcome back to New
Collar Entertainment? Oh, that's the other thing to say that.
Collar Entertainment. This is Matt.
There I am.
This is Juice. And it's
Side Chick Friday!
It is a special Side Chick Friday this week because of Christmas.
Yep.
And because of movie scheduling.
Yes.
Movie scheduling availability.
Yes.
So we are back with another episode of The Wheel, episode 29. Whoop whoop. And it's a good one today.
Yes.
Yes, which one are we
Ari, take it away.
talking about?
You're talking about. Oh shoot! Hold on a second. I had a preamble here, so give me a second. So many things I was looking at the same time. But we're talking about Egypt, basically. I had something else I was going to say to describe it. Give me a second. Animated musical drama film produced by Dreamworks from '98. It's the second feature film from the Dreamworks animation studio. I thought it was first. It was not, but it's probably the first one they started working on. Ants came out the same year, so that actually makes it their first one. But they basically, we'll get into like kind of the history of this movie in a second. Not the movie like content, but the history of the actual making in a little bit. But yeah, no, this film was basically, to summarize what I was going to talk about, it got us to here. It was basically DreamWorks kind of poking Disney in the eye and telling them to fuck themselves with this film. With a score composed by Hans Zimmer, with songs written by Steven Schwartz. Hans Zimmer, Schwartz you may not recognize as much, but he has contributed or has actually written plenty of hit musicals, including Godspell, Pippin, and Wicked, the 2003 Broadway version, obviously, as well as the Disney movies like Pocahontas, Hunchback, and now this one. So, also starring several well-known actors, Val Kilmer, Ralph Fiennes, Ray Fiennes. I've never understood why that's pronounced that way, but
yeah, neither have I. Ralph Fiennes.
Fiennes I'm willing to go with. The fact that people call Ralph Rafe,
yeah,
just never understood. Okay, whatever.
Or I always heard it as just Ray Fiennes. I never heard the Rafe.
I think it's Rafe Fiennes.
Yeah.
And then because like this syllable for this
flows together.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Weird. Anyway, continue.
Michelle Pfeiffer, Sandra Bullock, Jeff Goldblum, Danny Glover, Sir Patrick Stewart, the indomitable Helen Mirren, and Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Is it not Dame Helen Mirren?
It might be Dame. It might be Dame right now.
It might be. At that point, probably not.
She probably wasn't at that point. Dame. It is Dame according to Wikipedia.
Okay, so we will. We'll leave it as is.
Well, it is Dame. It was directed by Brenda Chapman, Steve Hickner, and Simon Wells. This was both Chapman and Hickman's first feature film to direct. Brenda Chapman became the first one to direct an animated feature with this movie. And then, 14 years later, she became the first woman to win an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature for Brave. Yeah, so...
we didn't watch Brave. I don't think I've ever seen Brave.
We watched it.
I don't think we ever watched
Yes, we have. There's a very sad memory that comes along with that one.
Okay.
John Snow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We'll go into another day.
We watched it that day, or?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I don't remember. I blocked that.
Yeah, no, I don't really remember the movie either, but I know we watched it. The writer, Philip Lazepnik, also worked on Pocahontas, Mulan, and Road to El Dorado. And it's just, it had a budget of $60 million, which was probably unheard of at that time for a new fledgling company.
And an animated film?
An animated film, and it took in $218 million.
Good!
So I think it made its money back.
Yeah, triple.
You think?
Yeah.
You know, maybe just a little.
350%, actually.
Yeah, it won an Academy. It was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, both of which had to do with music, Best Score and Best Song, and it won for When You Believe. So, performed by Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey.
When you hire Whitney fucking Houston and Mariah Carey before the Downswing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'll do it. I was trying to look real quick to see who they're nominated against. So the 71st Academy Awards. That was the same year as Saving Private Ryan. There was.
Oh, did it say right where I win?
I don't know. Best original dramatic score. So what he was? No, he was. Yeah. Well, no. Life is Beautiful. Then Red Line. He was on Pleasantville. Okay, yeah. So best original musical or comedy score. They were up against Patch Adams, Mulan, A Bug's Life, and Shakespeare in Love.
They would?
And they lost against Shakespeare in Love
for
best original musical or comedy score.
Wow.
Okay.
They won for best original song for When You Believe.
Right.
Against I Don't Want to Miss a Thing from Armageddon. Apparently That'll Do from Babe, Pig in the City by Randy Newman.
That'll do.
A Soft Place to Fall from The Horse Whisperer. The Prayer from Quest for Camelot, and that's it. I don't remember any of these songs. Except for
Don't Want to Miss a Thing.
Yeah, exactly. I never saw Babe, Pig in the City. I never saw The Horse Whisperer.
Nope.
I've never heard of Quest for Camelot.
I've heard of Quest for Camelot.
It sounds like a thing.
Yeah, it's a weird animated. I don't even know who made it, but it's one of those weird animated movies that just meh.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna.
We're not here to discuss that.
Nope. Movies that we don't hardly kind of remember. But basically, it is a retelling of the story of Moses.
Yep.
That basically, unless you've been living under a rock for
or don't follow that religion.
Since it's like one of the cornerstones of like 3 of the major religions, followed by like billions of people the world over.
Well, yeah, but if we have a Buddhist listening,
they still probably haven't heard the story.
It's possible.
So,
but that's kind of.
I will be fair and say that it's very unlikely that even though you may not follow that religion, that is weird. It's wrong of me to assume that you've never heard of it. But the majority of people who have grown up in societies that are majority of those religions have probably kind of heard about it. Or at least know how other people follow that story, since it's kind of a major, like the story of Passover. The very idea of like why Israel is a country kind of stems from part of this telling.
Yeah.
So like if you would have some idea about those things, even if you don't follow those religions, you would kind of know.
Yeah.
But basically, this is that story being retold.
To
try and give it more of like a human element to it.
I have another good example story.
What's that?
If you watched the Rugrats Hanukkah special as a kid, you know this story.
Well,
to an extent.
No, yeah. Look, people who are watching, who can hear our voice, probably have heard the story.
Yeah.
The people who haven't are, number one, everyone who's not listening to us, and then 2, people in other countries, other cultures.
No, that's understandable.
So I don't assume that everyone who ever anywhere has heard the story, but the majority of people walking the planet right now probably have. So I'm not going to go into like the details of it. I will say there's probably some licenses that are taken within the creativity, not only necessarily of the actual accuracy of a Bible story, because how accurate historically is a lot of this stuff, but more or less the accuracy of the original telling. But one of the fun facts is that the director, or like not the director, the chairman, whose idea this kind of was, it's really what kind of jumped off the Dreamworks in a lot of ways, and I'll get to that in a second, consulted at least 600 different religious leaders around the world. Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Arab, a bunch of different, like just everybody, because he wanted to make certain that they were getting this accurate.
Right.
And when they had the final product in hand, they watched it and they're like, okay, yeah, you listen to us. Basically, like they felt they gave their blessing to it. So it wasn't like ripping anything off or like like downplaying anything on what, like it was sticking to the true spirit of the story and what those people may have experienced at that time, if these circumstances were happening to them. And so I think that was really important for me when I was reading that. I didn't realize that. Other fun facts. Opening weekend grossed $14.5 million, finishing in second place. Opening was seen as somewhat disappointing given its high production and the studio's faith in the project. And the industry insiders had doubt they could leg out $100 million domestically. But it came out during the holiday season. The film gained 4% in its second weekend, earning $15 million and finishing in fourth place. It would hold well into its third weekend, and again finishing in fourth place, like I think the week after or something like that. average response is kind of all over the place, honestly. It's kind of weird. So, review aggregator from Rotten Tomatoes is at 80% with an average of 7.1 out of 10. And talk about how it's first rate, stunning visuals and voice cast more than compensate for the fact that it's better crafted than it is emotionally involving. Ouch. Wrong. Okay, cool. Whatever. Metacritic weights at 64 out of 100. Really favorable reviews. CinemaScore, film and audiences polled for CinemaScore gives it an average grade of A on A plus to F scale. We rarely have been watching movies where like the CinemaScore audience score is in keeping with a lot of the Metacritic or IMDb. Like even when like a lot of those are probably closer to how we're feeling about it, or they're closer to like how like each other. And those will be low. The cinema score, like, no, yeah, that movie was terrible. It's A plus. Like, I don't understand it either, but basically, it may not be a great movie, but a lot of people enjoyed it. Is the point? Like, it's still fun to watch. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna get into the details about all the different like reviews, or historically speaking. Cultural impact. It is interesting because it felt like this was a movie that was rediscovered recently after having like listened to it and known about it forever. But during COVID, basically a lot of people started to pay more attention because it was it had been, I don't remember what year, I can look for it real quick, but they did like do it for a musical Broadway version. Mm-hmm. But then of course when COVID happened, everything got shut down, and Cynthia Erivo, I believe she was in the Broadway version of that movie, as well as now playing Elphaba and Wicked. With so Shauna Bean, I'm not sure that is, with piano accompaniment by Stephen Schwartz, performed a rendition of When You Believe during a virtual Saturday Night Seder in that April 2020 in response to the shutdown of Broadway and the film's stage musical adaptation and suspending performances in the West End. And so, of course, that made the rounds. Everyone saw it, and no one liked it, and like, okay, now we're gonna start like singing it more. The leitmotif became a TikTok mashup between that and Hans Zimmer's Gom Jabbar score from Dune, which I've never seen that TikTok mashup, but apparently it's a thing. Garnering 2.3 million views, so in its first 24 hours. So, but basically, like, it's managed to, like, because of social media, it's become more, gotten more notability, as well as it being released in theaters, or on Broadway as well. I know when it first came out, I don't remember what year that was, my best friends from high school, we sang When You Believe, or we were supposed to sing When You Believe for a talent show, and I chickened out. But we fucking love that movie, and we watched it together in theaters at least 3 times. When it came out on Broadway, I think that either he sent it to me or I sent it to him, or we were sending it to each other, because we wanted to fly to Britain to go watch this fucking theater production, because fuck yes, take my money. Of course, I don't have any, so I can't. But if I had any, I'd give it all to you so I can go see this performance.
It's the Fry meme. It's the Fry meme from Futurama.
Yeah, basically.
Take my money.
Fun facts: Prince of Egypt was banned in the Maldives, Malaysia, and Egypt, and all state Islam countries on the grounds that Islamic prophets, including Moses, are not to be visually depicted. It was also banned in Indonesia, but later released on video CD format. The Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs in Maldives stated that all prophets and messengers of God are revered in Islam and therefore cannot be portrayed. End quote. So following this ruling, it was banned in basically a month after the movie came out. In the same month, Malaysia did the same thing, so as to not offend the country's majority Muslim population, and so forth. So I don't know that ban's ever been released, so there's a good chance there are people in this room who've never seen this movie. Yeah. Specifically because of where they were born. And also, in 2004, AFI's 100 Years of 100 Songs recognized When You Believe. So, or at least was nominated. Real quick. So, Dreamworks T. So, what happened was, when Jeffrey Katzenberg was a bright-eyed, boy of, I don't know, 40 something, and living his life as the Walt Disney Studios chairman, and always wanted to produce a film adaptation of the life of Moses. And he wanted to do that for so long. It was an idea he wanted to do while he was working at Disney. And in April 1994, the Disney Studios president, Frank Wells, was killed in a helicopter crash. Katzenberg just figured he'd be the next person in charge, but Michael Eisner flat out refused and basically hired somebody else, kind of like his yes man, I think. And so, 4 months later, Eisner called him into his office and handed him a 4-page memorandum about staffing changes, which included Katzenberg's immediate resignation. Yep. So, Katzenberg resigned in that August, but remained until September 1994. But the idea started while he was still, he wanted to do that while he was at Disney. And then when they went to hanging out in I think Steven Spielberg's living room or whatever, with Steven Spielberg and David Geffen, trying to make this new studio idea together a couple months after he'd been canned. Katzenberg was like, I want to tackle bigger than life stories, Indiana Jones, Terminator, Lawrence of Arabia, that sort of thing. And Spielberg was like, yeah, you should do the Ten Commandments. And so the Prince of Egypt was created. I do remember reading someplace else. I can't find it right now. But this is 1994. DreamWorks would go out and do other movies. I think 97 was the first year they actually put movies out, including Amistad. I'm looking for it real quick right now. There was stuff. Amistad was one of the first ones they did. Mouse Hunt was another one they did. And there was a third one, the first 3 they did in that year. Okay, yeah. Released his first 3 feature films in 97. The Peacemaker, Amistad, and Mouse Hunt. So this is 3 years after
Mouse Hunt with Nathan Lane.
Yes.
Huh.
Yes. So those
Sorry,
are all...
I just remember Nathan Lane chasing a mouse.
Yes.
So.
I love that movie. I haven't seen it in forever.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, it's really good.
Okay.
So it's heartwarming. It's fun.
Okay.
In 97, DreamWorks Pictures released its first feature films, which included Amistad, Peacemaker, and Mouse Hunt. Mouse Hunt was the end of the year or something like that. I think Amistad honestly might have been 2. That one I know I saw in theaters actually. But that was 3 years after they came up with the idea for the studio in 94. And they wanted to do live action as well as animated, which was kind of a risk because of all the costs involved. That's why a lot of places don't do that. But they wanted to try and do something crazy, and they did it. And then in 98, so the next year, they released Ants. But I'm not certain how long they were working on Ants. I know they were working on Prince of Egypt. One of the things they talk about, the Red Sea scene that we see, took 3 fucking years to create.
Well worth it.
It is.
3 years.
It is. It fucking is.
It is one of the best. I mean, it goes in my good, but still, the visuals.
Oh, my brain.
The visual. Well, yeah, no, that's fine. The visuals are just amazing.
Yeah, no, we haven't even gotten into.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten it, but oh my god.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so and I read it somewhere else, I forget, but kind of how they end up doing the filming for this movie was, I think, with a relatively short time, they had actually, put out all the storyboards for it. They had a bunch of different artists working on it together, and then from that, they started to work on individual scenes, individual cuts, and, designs and everything. They flew their people out to, Egypt and to study the art and work there, as well as to the Sahara and the Death Valley or whatever here in America to study colors and shit like that. It was just really super duper involved, and of course collaborating or consulting with literally hundreds of religious advisors around the world to try and get the best sense of where the direction they would take this film, so as to be true to the spirit, basically. So that is all I can think of right now. If I can find the article I read a few months ago that was talking about Katzenberg's revenge, basically, on Disney and Michael Eisner specifically, by creating DreamWorks and specifically this film, then I will find it and I will add it to the conversation. But at this stage, I will just back out because I think I've said enough. So thoughts?
Okay, initial thoughts.
All right.
Has anyone not seen this film before? You've seen this film before.
I've seen this film before.
Okay.
I think we've all seen it.
Yeah,
before.
So let me go first.
Okay.
I have seen this movie before. The first time I saw it, my mom took us to the movie theater because she wanted to see this movie.
Okay.
My mother is a mildly religious person. She prays every day before she does, before when she gets up, when she goes, when she would go to work, things. She prays for us, things of that nature. So she adamantly wanted to go see this movie, and I remember seeing it as a kid. And then I didn't see it again in full until early this year, and I think it was after we had a discussion about you wanting to see this movie again.
Okay.
When I came up with the idea for The Wheel. Now, this might have been months ago that I seen it, or it might have been back in the beginning of the year when I actually first sat down and watched it, and I'm like, oh wow. But I had forgotten how well animated, well performed, I don't know if I want to say well written, but it's very well made, and it's a story that is very I don't want to say it's controversial because it's not. It's controversial in the sense that people don't like to do religious animation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Disney didn't want to do it, because it didn't want to touch on that topic of religion.
Right. That's very fair.
And this movie has balls. And I think it does a very good job of telling this story. And it captivates you from the performances, from just the overall. I remember rewatching it, it made me feel. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Babe?
There's something to be said about a story about anyone who gets scorned by a company, the higher ups, and then leaves and sticks it to them in the most beautiful way. You have that story with this movie. I've lived through it in my life. Saquon Barkley of the Eagles this year.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of those stories in the world, and they always feel so good. I would challenge anybody to find something that was cheaply done or shortcutted in this movie. Every single detail, every performance, every actor, every musician was thought about and brought in the best of the best. And then again, Disney didn't want to do it because of religion, but at the very end, which I had never seen this part, was the quotes at the end. At the post-credits, they have 3 quotes, one from the Hebrew Bible, one from the New Testament, and one from the Quran.
I never noticed. Oh, I never watched
Yeah.
it. I never saw through to the end, like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And each of them praising Moses. And it's like, you sit here, and like anyone who has studied these religions at all knows that the Jewish religion, the Christian religion, and the Muslim religion are all the same story. It's just, where does it end? If you think about it. Because like the Old Testament is pretty much the Jewish Bible.
Yeah.
Then if you add on the New Testament, then you have Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you decide to go past Jesus and into God, I don't know who the figure is for that, so I put Muhammad. Thank you. Sorry. Then you have Islam. So it's like the fact that they included all 3 is telling, especially in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
This is a beautiful story, beautiful movie. And I'm having a hard time figuring out anything wrong with it. I do have a couple things, though. But we'll get into good first. Because we did pretty much your initial thoughts.
Well, she went over the stats.
Yes.
She went over the facts. So.
And actually, over my impressions, I will try and be as brief as I possibly can. I mentioned this either the last time we were talking. I mentioned it a couple times at this point. when I talk about this movie. It's one of the only movies I've ever seen in the theater more than 2 times. I've seen a couple movies. I saw Jurassic Park and Terminator, and I feel like there's another movie I've seen in the theater.
The first Terminator?
Terminator 2.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park. I saw those in the theaters twice when they came out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of another movie. I know I've seen others I've probably done twice. There's very few movies that I've done more than that.
Mm.
This is absolutely one of them. And not only did I did it more than twice, I did it like 5 times. And it's a very... I have always loved this film, obviously because I loved it so much. I want to see it. I paid to go see it multiple times. And it's me and my best friend Eric, we sang it for our wedding, at our wedding, me and Matt's wedding, because it was to kind of make up for the fact that I didn't sing it in high school when I was supposed to, and also the movie actually ended up coming out around the same time my dad passed away. And he was always a really big proponent, and I was like knowing music and being like big, like, you know, proponents of, like, was one who taught us music when we were growing up. And he was supposed to teach me singing because he realized, oh my God, you can also sing, and I didn't think I could sing. And I just never got around to like having the balls basically to like say yes, let me learn this from you before he passed away. And so here it is, high school. Still didn't have the balls after he passed away to do the song. And so when we're having our wedding, we couldn't have a father-daughter dance, so me and Eric did the song instead. With my sister and brother dancing dramatically to it. So this movie is really a really important place in my heart, just because of all of those reasons. Like, it's just a part of my life. Mm-hmm. But also, the movie itself is phenomenal. In the way that...
fuck you mean you didn't think you could sing so strange? All caps.
To respond to that comment, you have to understand that I grew up in a very musical and talented town and community and church, and I was not the one that people were going to me for like solos. I basically had to teach myself how to sing. I was not the one. Yeah, that wasn't like what I was known for, and it wasn't till I don't know, like I became an adult going to karaoke and wanting to do these songs that I really enjoyed, that I had like forced myself to learn how to sing them to the point that I was satisfied with them. Otherwise, I wasn't gonna do them. And yeah, now I can do them, so now I can do other songs too. And it started with Evanescence, honestly. So, but yeah, no, I didn't think I could sing for a long time, because self-esteem and, you know, adolescence and stuff, they do a job on you. But yeah, the visuals have always been like one of those things that just struck me, that still watching this like 20-something, almost 30 years later, it's still like, wow, that was fucking done in the 90s. That's amazing. I wish we had anywhere near the same level of commitment and like artisanship that goes to it. And the music, I'm gonna get into my good. I'm gonna stop there though. Yeah. So those are my first impressions. Just everything was woven together so well. Mwah.
All right, so into our good. Would you like to start, Juice?
Sure. The whole movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
And
the whole movie.
No notes.
Yeah, no notes. No. But if like it's like we're saying, and now I have to like adjust myself because I have to get into thinker mode. Every bit of this film, the animation, the visuals, the backgrounds, the performances, the score, the original music, everything is good, if not great. And I'm also going through the article, through some of the Wikipedia stuff that Ariane was going through, and I believe it was Roger Ebert who said it. Give me 1 second. Okay. If it's not Roger Ebert, no, it was wait. Okay. I had it and I lost it, but essentially, what the movie does well is it captivates everything else of this movie captivates really well without there having to be a very either a captivating story or without captivating emotion. I believe is what I had read, and I don't wanna knock it. Here we go. Okay, I'm sorry. So it was on Rotten Tomatoes. The website's critic consensus reads, "The Prince of Egypt's stunning visuals and first-rate voice cast more than compensate for the fact that it's better crafted than it is emotionally involved."
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, so you did say that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
But here's
sorry.
the thing, you're talking about emotional involvement in one of the oldest stories of all time.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna sit here and look for, like, more drama?
Well, and I did a better job of doing that this time around, too, because, like, they really tie in the relationship between Moses and those people that he was being raised around and to come back and, like, call him on their shit.
Yeah. No, I think that's...
Wrong.
Yeah.
No, but I also think that in the sense of Hollywood, you would kind of expect them to add more drama, you know, and
they did by making Pharaoh or Ramses Moses' brother.
Yeah. Well, and then I think that's the thing is that they added more drama, but Hollywood often adds drama. One, in places they don't need it, but even when they do, it's bad. It's not necessary, or like it's just not done well. I don't understand why like it's not emotionally involving. Like, fuck you, you're wrong. You're a soulless robot. I don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah, I don't agree with it at all. So
like, there's no parts I'm watching this film and I'm like,
fair enough. I guess emotionally. See, I guess for me, emotionally involving is just the overall. The way I get emotionally involved was the overall mood, just like the presence of the film really just like like I said, it captivates you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else I can add on that hasn't already been said because this movie is very well done, and I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna pass it to somebody else.
I don't have anything. So it's the entire movie. If I have to pick something, the visuals. There are shots, and you know what? No, I can't even do that because you know what? Well, that's my grade.
Yeah.
So, no, the whole fucking movie, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So we'll let you take the floor.
You wanna get what Strange said? Comment.
Strange says, as a soulless robot, I think this movie is very emotional. But as someone who at one point dated an animator, god damn, this is well animated. I'm sure if I freeze frame every scene, I could find mistakes, but that's nitpicking.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, excuse me. That kind of hurt, honestly. Thank you, Strange.
All right.
On that note, I'm looking through also retrospective reception from other people, and basically there's been I've seen on TikTok, and we've had the conversation, and I feel like I don't know where we're at. I feel like we got to a point where we kind of saw the first other point and agreed at a certain stage, like, is this the best animated film?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this the best DreamWorks animated film? I think
that's pretty solidified.
And well, I think the argument was like, well, there's Shrek. Because that's the next other one that's really kind of like...
popular.
The one that's popular.
That one's
And you
popular.
know what's funny about that? Just quick little fun fact I saw in here. People who made mistakes, animators that made mistakes on this film, were sent to work on Shrek.
People who were like made mistakes on like Lion King were sent to like Hunchback or something like that.
Yeah. So it was called being Shrek'd.
Oh my God!
Ah.
Yes.
No.
Yes. So that was the thing. So I think that partially could. So is Shrek a middle finger to the head animators on Prince of Egypt?
Yeah, kind of.
Yes, I almost want to say no, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
All these great animated films that are middle fingers to the predecessors.
I mean, this shit's rolling downhill or whatever. But yeah, there's like various people on here, like also I don't know who they are. Just various other people have weighed in to say where they feel that this movie stands in terms of the test of time. One of the interesting things someone pointed out was the comic's emotions of history in ways even children can appreciate, and positively compared its handling of the portrayal of Jews under oppression to Steven Spielberg's film Schindler's List and Fiddler on the Roof and Parade.
Which I've never seen either.
I've seen Schindler's List. I've never finished Fiddler on the Roof. It was a movie that they started in high school, and they're like, it's like a 2-hour film.
Yeah.
And we get through 1 hour, and I think I was like gone the next.
I've heard Schindler's List is kind of rough.
It's hard for me to get through.
Okay.
I've gone through it once. I did that like maybe a few years ago.
I don't think I've ever finished it.
Wow.
It's really good. It is very, 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 very rough.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I figure.
So. Yeah, but it's watchable. It's just I find it hard to do a repeat watch. There's not a movie that I would never watch again though. There are some movies, Devil All the Time, that I will never watch intentionally a second time. No matter how good it is. But yeah. So just okay. Not talking about somebody else's words though. My words for good is of course obviously the fucking movie. But also to that point, I just kept seeing these visually stunning scenes. Like it was so well crafted. It was just that's what I was gonna say. The level of depth. You know what? I'm gonna stop because a lot of this is gonna go into my great stuff. I'm just gonna say the whole movie is good, and then I'll get into specifics when we get to greats.
Okay.
That's gonna take longer actually. So
Man.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
stop.
So we all are in consensus. The movie is good.
Yes.
The movie's good. All right.
Yes.
But how good?
Yeah. How good? What's bad? What's the bad? Oh well, I know. Okay, I don't really have any bad.
Guys, get
No,
this out.
well, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't really have any bad.
Before you get into that bad, I will say I have one specific good.
Okay.
And it was the voice of God.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I did not realize that was multiple people working at the same time.
Yeah.
It's Val Kilmer's voice more clearly.
Yeah.
But especially like when like God kind of like goes off on Moses, you can hear more of the voices underlay. But if you're looking for them, you can hear them going on too.
Especially, and you can also hear them when he first sees the bush.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can hear the whispers from the other.
Yes.
From
And
the
I actually really like the reasoning that they chose Val Kilmer as the resonating voice.
Yeah.
As his inner voice.
Yeah.
And, like talking through him to that.
And one thing I did say before or while we're watching it before streaming was that wouldn't it have been cool or interesting if Morgan Freeman had been the voice of God?
Yeah.
Right. Well, the reason why they didn't go with one person, except for maybe Val Kilmer in particular, was because they did not want to offend anybody at that time and saying that this is the one true voice or whatever.
And that's completely fair and understandable.
The fact they're using it as an ensemble to kind of like, I think also symbolic in the fact that like God is all of us sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it a lot.
But of course, like if you're gonna hear your own internal monologue, and that's what we're saying that necessarily sometimes that's the way the voice of God might sound.
Yeah.
Then it would come from your own personal voice.
Like when you that would be the loudest. Like when you're talking to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So most of us don't hear Morgan Freeman's voice in our heads, and when we do, it's usually when we're reading something in his voice because we know that we were reading it in his voice.
Yes.
But most of the time, it's not like popping in there.
No, absolutely.
So, but that's my one specific good.
Okay.
Aside from the whole fucking thing.
All right.
Continue.
All right. Bad. I don't really have any bad for this movie. And I'm not gonna try to nitpick anything because everything just looks really, really good. So go ahead, Matt.
All right.
You said you had some bad.
So I had one bad.
Okay.
And my bad was that at the end, when the sea closes, it closes on the Pharaoh.
Oh yeah.
Closes on Ramses.
It doesn't close on him.
And then it closes on him.
It
closes on him. And then they allude to the fact that he survived.
You see how
I'm not finished. As you wait to bite my head off, patiently.
Yes, go ahead, baby.
And I'm sitting here like, no, that character is dead. The entire Red Sea, okay, didn't land on you, pushed you out. The entire weight of the Red Sea pushed you out of the Red Sea. You're dead.
Uh-huh.
You are a dead person.
Okay.
You are unalived.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I read again into the trivia, and the creators have actually left it open, but a popular opinion is that Ramses did not survive, and that is why it is a transparent shot, and they're both on the screen at the same time of Ramses, because it's more wishful thinking on Moses' part that Ramses survived. So I'm going to take that, adopt that opinion, and say that I have no bad for this movie.
Interesting.
Okay. That's an interesting take.
Would you like to stop biting my head off now?
No, but I'm going to try.
I literally said there's no bad for this movie. What do you have to bite my head off about?
I'm not going to bite your head off, baby.
Uh-huh.
So Strange asked, "There's bad parts of this movie?" And then he says, "Ramses survives. Ooh, Prince of Egypt 2 Electric Boogaloo confirmed."
Oh, God. Strange, we gotta get you on one of these reviews.
I don't know.
That's not Velocipaster.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, honestly, like, I don't know if it'd be better Strange here and we can actually get his responses, or us being able to read his comments.
That's everything's good. Everything that has to do with Strange.
Either way it'd work fine, because just he'd be able to jump in and and actually like give and voice his opinion in real time. It'd be interesting to have it in real time instead of just us reading it.
I know, and now that's the gag. Like
I understand that's the gag. The bit would then become him arguing with Hadari via in
and
real
us
time.
performing that argument.
Exactly.
Well, I was saying, or also he can still continue to comment while he's sitting here.
Yeah, he can.
And he's just reading his comments passive aggressively on screen.
Exactly. So, Ari, you're bad.
Pass. So
Okay.
He said, "Do Road to El Dorado."
And I'll try.
Oof.
Yeah, El Dorado. So I feel like DreamWorks hit it out of the park with this one, and it's so hard to hit that when they obviously put so much. And here's the thing: I think also this might be the one. This is the one bad for this movie, and it's not even the fucking movie. It's not its own fault. It is the industry. The fact of the matter is that the time the movie came out, it was when it was kind of going through this nexus between CGI animation and then also traditional cell animation.
Yeah, so going between 2D and 3D.
And so when over time it became the shiny new toy, we're gonna do it all in CGI. But then the problem is that became super cheap.
Yeah.
And so a lot of studios were incentivized to not go back and do it this way. And so the impression that we get from watching this fantastic art masterpiece in front of us in 1998 that still holds up as a fucking masterpiece 26 years later, and probably will continue to do so for as long as we're all around and able to watch it in the future. While other movies have come out since that time have yet to even come close to the bar, is more because of the changes in industry than anything else. It's almost like, this movie's so good, why can't anything else be ever as good as this one? They just kind of went downhill. Well, yeah, but that's not entirely
it's not its fault.
No, yeah, that movie was really good. There was nowhere else for them to go up from that point because of the way in which they did it.
Yeah.
Now, I will say though that we've obviously had fantastic animated movies come out since then that I don't know if I would say was as good as this one, but I'm just having a hard time coming up with anything. I'm sure there have been movies that made me feel and think whatever, blah blah blah, and been impressed with the animation and been impressed with the story as well. But so it's not like it's impossible to do one. However, I'm really hard pressed to find one off the top of my head that I think was as good as this one. Someone tell me I'm wrong. Since '98.
We'd have to go through a list.
That's as good as this one?
Yeah.
Animated?
Visually and storytelling wise, that's gonna be difficult.
Nemo. I would make an argument for Nemo.
Okay.
That's the only one I could think of.
Okay.
Because of what Nemo did.
Yes.
And I mean in society. Plus I go to that shot in the whale's mouth with the tongue and the water running out. That's easily one of the best animated things of all time.
Well, so
Strange said Spider-Verse movies. I would listen to that argument too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would actually probably go with Spider-Verse over Nemo, and I would say that because, like, while Finding Nemo had a lot of really good, and somehow we're talking about other movies besides Prince of Egypt, but I think it's important to do it. I think Finding Nemo is a really good example. I think story-wise.
Yes.
Definitely story-wise. But as far as animation goes, it's still, it's really well done, but that's really just all just the CG.
Yeah.
This blend between animated cell and CG that creates these different layers and textualized and like kind of like I think the closest in terms of like I can think off the top of my head, I'm not the only one that does a different style. For example, might be like Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
So the way in which like the characters are animated, the way in which they're like designed, like that sort of thing, they are markedly different than other animated like characters that Disney puts out around that same time. But like that style is not evident in Finding Nemo. Like that signature style is not evident in Finding Nemo.
No, it's
okay.
not.
So this one, that's gonna be part of my grade. I'm not gonna go into it right now. Is very obviously unique, specifically to an Egyptian story that they're trying, ancient Egyptian story they're trying to tell.
So, all right. So ugly.
There's probably a couple uglies in here.
All right, I got one ugly.
Okay.
All the actors are white, except for Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Every other character playing the Egyptian or Hebrew, Middle Eastern people is white.
Yeah.
It's the 90s. I get it.
Should it be?
And it's an A-list cast.
Right.
So don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
However.
But it should be pointed out.
Yes.
That every actor is white.
Yeah. Part of the good is like the cast is amazing. Part of the ugly is the cast is also very monochromatic.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of diversity in the sound booth.
If I would recast anybody, it would be Hotep and Hoi.
Where's that?
At least maybe Hotep and Hoi.
Break up Steve Martin and Martin Short? Really? I was gonna go Moses.
Yes.
I would have recasted Moses.
I would have recast Moses and his wife.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't pick who specifically in the 90s. I couldn't tell you who I would recast
Denzel
as Hotep and Hoi.
as Moses.
Who?
Denzel.
Yeah, I can see that. That man has a hard time doing anything wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so then what about Michelle? Who would you recast as Michelle Pfeiffer? Well, you said his wife, so who would you have recast?
Probably Alfred Woodard, maybe.
She has a powerful voice.
Yeah. I'd say Alfred Woodard or Halle Berry.
I think it would also have to be somebody who can sing as well.
Well, they can always find other people to sing.
Angela Bassett?
Well, because I mean, I'm not 100% sure if, like, for example, Sandra Bullock sang.
It's not her singing.
It's not her? Okay.
The director sang, actually.
Okay.
Okay, we can't get bogged down.
She might have sang the part where, like, she convinces Moses of who he is.
Yeah.
But the part during When You Believe is not.
Okay, no, then that's fine. And I'm not trying to bog down anything.
No,
not
you.
Oh.
We can't bog down recasting this movie.
Oh, no. No.
But exercise that might be, we can do that off stream.
Yeah. So, okay.
So that's my ugly. Go ahead, Juice.
I agree with you. That'd be it.
As much as I love this movie, I think aside from that one, the only other ugly I can come up with is, especially right now, like, while on one hand, like, this movie is very important, and one of the things they talk about with regards to portrayal of the Hebrew story.
Fuck you, Shrey.
What did he say?
He said, make sure Matt isn't thinking Viola Davis when he said Angela Bassett.
So for no color entertainment, this is Matt.
No, so one of the things, this is weird, like, kind of like, it sucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's this weird line that for some reason you have to be pro-Zionism, otherwise you're anti-Semite. And I'm like,
I thought about that.
I hate that.
Well, I thought about that, but I'm like, if you just watch this, like you would watch or play God of War, or watch Hercules or Xena the Warrior Princess, with all these other gods and goddesses and stories of them, it's still a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't believe, and you're not pro-Zionist, or whatever it is, you can still enjoy the movie.
Yes.
So, I'm just going to leave it at that, but continue.
Yeah.
No, that's basically is that if that is a concern for you, then this movie would come off quite pro-Zionism.
It should be brought up. Hi, Chris McKennis and Jessica!
Hi, Christmas Kitus. We miss you.
Merry Christmas, Kitus.
I sent them. I texted them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, she was like, Merry Christmas. I'm like, Merry Christmas, Kitus. Because you don't just say Chris. You have to say Chris McKitis. And if you're going to say Chris McKitis, you have to say Christmas Kitus.
Yeah.
But yes. I don't know. I have my glasses on. I can't read. Same.
Every time I make those comments, I know Matt is just counting down the day till he gets a no disqualification match with me.
Already have it booked and planned.
And Chris and Jess say exactly.
Yes, we are reviewing Prince of Egypt because that movie's fantastic.
Yep.
And we are just about
Nia
finishing our
Long.
ugly.
Nia Long could have played.
Oh, yeah, Nia Long would have been great. You're right. That's the pick.
Yeah. All right, so that's it for our ugly because we don't have much.
Yep.
We really don't have. I'm very honest. Like this stream really could have just been everything great with Prince of Egypt because like we're not gonna spend. We spent almost no time on good because just like movie's good.
Movie's good.
Move on. Nothing bad. Not really have anything bad. Okay.
Except Ramses doesn't die.
Except Ramses doesn't die. And then the ugly is limited.
Yeah.
And so now we're gonna spend the next like 30 minutes talking about how great this movie is.
Well, I'm going to say that we should pick a certain part of the movie that is great.
Fuck you.
And focus on that.
You know what?
Fuck you.
I struggled because there is a lot, and I am a montage guy, but even it's like not even the montages alone were great for me. But if I have to pick a great, I think for me a great is.
You don't have to.
I know I don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
We didn't pick any bads.
No, we didn't. No, but still, like the movie is great.
Yeah.
But my favorite. Shit. Nope.
That's really what the great is. Your favorite part.
No. Like I was struggling, but like I'm like because I will always remember that shot when they're singing "Let My People Go." And it's the split of
the dichotomy,
yeah. Yeah, and then I will always remember that shot and then the way it splits, but I love that whole montage of Let My People Go. I think that for me is my great.
So, I'm gonna build on that.
Okay.
That my great is I think this movie has the single greatest musical climax of any animated movie and maybe any movie ever made. I could literally sit here and rewind Let My People Go over and over and over again and watch someone on YouTube make an 8-hour supercut of just that part over and over again. I will watch it. That is amazing to watch, and there's so many great about this movie. But that part, just because of its replayability, it's a song that's so short, it just keeps you wanting to listen to it.
Yeah.
And they do that a lot in this movie. There are no songs that really overstay their welcome. But no, Let My People Go is the single greatest musical climax in animation film history. Fight me.
I was trying to think about it, but at the moment I can't. Like, there's too much going on right now, and this movie's just it's the present, so I can't fight you. I'm not gonna fight you on it right now. I'll have to think about it.
Yeah, I would be hard pressed to come up with anything else, honestly. And I don't want to.
Yeah, no.
I want to agree with you, so I'm not like, no, that's fine. I want to go with that.
I mean, all us Christian kids know that song, so yes, I will fight you. Of course you will, Jessica. I am happy to fight you, but I'm fucking right.
They also said, is it bad that it's super Christian?
Well,
is the bad just that it's super Christian?
It's not, though.
Actually, at the end, we discovered after the post credits, there's a post credit scene where they show a quote from the the Torah, the New Testament, and the Quran. So they kind of include everybody.
Yeah, no, and I don't know if you guys heard the part I said earlier.
The
about
snarky student in me wants to disagree with Matt, but I can't.
I don't know if you guys heard the part earlier when we talked about when they were developing the film, they consulted with over 600 different biblical scholars, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, and Arab, to try and get the idea that they wanted to in telling this story that is part of several billion people's religious faith and historical text or whatever the fuck. So, like, it's not just Christian, although Christians like to, appropriate everything when they can. But it's not. So, like, it is religious. It is religious. However, if that's going to be one of your bads, that could be one of your bads if you like. We didn't necessarily take issue with that. It's at this stage is telling a story, and that was actually part of the problem is that Disney probably didn't want to touch it because it had religious quote unquote overtones or undertones, whatever the fuck. And so, well, I didn't mention my ugly.
Isn't this more Jewish than Christian though?
Yeah. Because it's before
the story
Christ, way before Christ.
Yeah.
And he's not even brought up.
No. This is a super Jewish movie, if anything else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Story of the Hebrews.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Anyway.
My great is I had a real hard time. My great was I had a really hard time trying to. I was like, the visual, because there was like the scene when just something as simple as the scene where Ramses is talking to his father Seti when they burst in trouble after like the whole carriage ride, and actually that could be my bad. Like wanton destruction and like just accidentally almost killing your sibling. Like, hey, where's your sense of adventure? And then just like continuing anyway. So that's my bad. But yeah, like that scene right there where you kind of see the pull out and you see Seti's face, like the giant statue of him in the background, and then the background of Egypt and all the which is also like in the thing with Wikipedia about all the different fucking artists they use just on backgrounds. But yeah, like they're sitting there have that talk, and it's just like, it's just stunning. Just for whatever reason, just hits me. The scene, the dream sequence, the kind of almost like prophetic dream sequence that Moses has is like tells him who he is.
Yeah, I wish I could dream in hieroglyph.
Right, like it's like that the textures, like that's done a lot in CG, but like it feels flat though, like that's the whole point.
Yeah,
like, it's supposed to feel that way.
Yeah,
and so like it's beautifully done. And then of course, the Red Sea that took like 3 years to create. And yeah, like it's still like it's still awe-inspiring, I guess. Like I can't come up with any other words. That movie had so many different layers and levels while they were creating it. The fact they had different artists specifically for each character, for the backgrounds. They were studying like trying to get scale. That would be the other thing that's really important. Like when you go to ancient Egypt, like I know because I've never fucking been, but it's part of in doing architectural design is understanding like that scale is designed to intimidate, and you use it in your design and stuff like that. And then they were trying very much to invoke that feeling in all of their creation with this film. And I'm like, I love that was an extra like little added piece. I had a real hard time picking between that and the music.
Mm.
Oh god! And I'm trying to look to see like what was the name of the choir that actually sings a lot, like because not even just the plays. It's the opening score.
Yeah.
Also, the opening score that just I feel like also is another one of those things that you don't see as much now because everything's done with computers.
Too much credit for not enough work. Wow.
Okay. You're entitled to your
I have a feeling that a fight is coming between you and Jessica.
No.
I
said what I said.
I do want to point out that she also said no. Learn anything about Judaism before you say this is a Jewish movie, But again, I need it explained to me how, when the first 5 books of the Torah are Moses' story, how it's not a Jewish story.
They specifically say it's from the book of Exodus. Specifically,
yes, in the movie they say it's from the book of Exodus.
Yes.
In the Torah,
yes,
the first 5 books.
Is that it?
I don't know if it's called Exodus, because I know that's the Christian way.
I know the Dead Sea Scrolls, the first 5 books of the Torah.
It says here.
You have Google in front of you. I know.
The first 5 books, the story describes Moses' birth, his time spent in Egypt, and his leadership of the Israelites out of slavery.
So
that's the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible.
Okay.
So how is it not a Jewish story?
That's a great question. No, yep, strange. I'm right with you.
All right, moving on.
But yeah, My Other Grade is just the musical composition. It is another one of those examples of like they kind of set the bar and then no one was ever gonna reach it, so they just didn't bother.
Mm-hmm.
And where they had actual orchestral like accompaniment as opposed to everything being done on computers now. And I get it; it's cheaper. You can get almost as good a product for it. However, there is just it's a depth that is just missing, I think, to a certain extent sometimes. And I highly appreciate all of it. So, and then my last grade is first female director on an animated feature, who goes on to be the first female animated feature director to win an Academy Award for such a thing.
Nice.
So, like, on her first thing, like, her first, premiere, because she did other shit before this. I just want to, like, shout her out real quick before I am done. Brenda Chapman had also, aside from working for Brave, and also did Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Oliver and Company, Little Mermaid, The Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Those are her credits before she worked on The Prince of Egypt as the director. Now, the thing she did was she was story artist, she was other, whatever that means, so in between artists, so she was still like kind of working her way up, or she was like artistic supervisor on the story, that sort of thing. But like she had been working with, she was probably one of the people who defected over from Disney after Katzenberg left. Because it's clear she was working on a few of their projects. 94 was Lion King, was the last one she did. Although The Hunchback of Notre Dame, just because of the way the films were being created, she might have worked on that one in 94, left, but it wasn't released for 2 more years because it's just how the fucking way it worked.
Yeah.
But she was a story artist, so she might have actually worked on that a little longer before she defected.
Yeah.
Although she did work on Fantasia 2000, I don't know if that counts, but it doesn't like she did. She did was Toy Story 3 Disney? That was Disney by then. She did go to Disney, obviously, at some point with Brave, but at least initially. Yeah. Well, I think the other thing with Dreamworks also was that they're like, you can work for other companies.
Yeah.
That Disney did not allow.
And I think she probably went back after Michael Eisner left.
When did he leave?
I think he dropped.
He was there for a while.
I know he was there for a while.
So, but yeah, she did El Dorado. She did Shrek. I don't know who did Sinbad. And she did Cars. That would be like the first, because that's Disney for sure.
Yeah, no, that's Disney.
So
Disney Pixar.
there's about 7 years in between there, 8 years or whatever, that she does not work for Disney. So maybe that's around the time that he left that she decided to come back. All right, and I'm done with my grade.
All right. Jessica did say Orthodox Jewish reactions to the DreamWorks movie The Prince of Egypt were generally negative from and then cites rationalist Judaism.
That's fair.
Well, I'd have to go a little deeper into that, but we will table that argument, and I will have that fight with you later. Don't you worry. I'm not running away.
I just point out the 600 that while that sect may not necessarily agree with it, there were other Jewish leaders and religious and scholars who did.
Yeah.
So, they're not monolith, I guess.
And a lot of people want to have an opinion. All right. So, with that being said, out of 10.
Oh, 9.
Oh, straight to the 9 for Ari.
9.
I was gonna say 9.
9 as well.
9.
Wow, we all agreed.
Yeah.
Again.
I do not agree.
Oh, you didn't do 9?
No, I did not.
Oh, what's yours?
I'm giving my second 10
Oh, really?
of the wheel.
Wow. What was your other 10?
Godzilla -1.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm giving it the 10 out of 10.
Okay.
I
fair.
I think after watching it again and from a critic's point of view, and really like trying to find something wrong with this movie, this may be the best animated film ever made. I think there's an argument. Now Spider-Verse I would listen to, Nemo I would listen to. There are ones I would listen to animated wise, but this may be the greatest animated movie ever made, and so it deserves the 10.
Strange added, I think I remember one of my film teachers basically saying Orthodox Jewish people hated it mostly because Moses was black. Was I old enough to know that for sure? But no, but
but that's what I heard.
Why I heard it, yeah.
Was he black?
Well, he's a person of color.
Well, yeah, because Moses would be a person of color.
Again, not getting into that.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Anyway, so that brings our average
I'm giving this
score.
let people go out of 10.
So that brings our score to 9.25?
Something like that.
I'm gonna go 9.5. I'm just gonna bump it up.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, so I was just
Yeah,
like,
no,
All right, so now we're up to 9.75.
I'm gonna bump it up too, because honestly, here's the thing. I don't know for me what will be considered a perfect movie, and I'm afraid to give a perfect score to anything.
Yeah.
Because once you give it a perfect score, then it's like, it's almost
hard. How do you reach that level?
Yeah. How do you get back up there?
Yeah.
And that's very, very difficult. And I know I rated Coming to America high, but that was more so for the nostalgia of it. When in actuality, it's like a 7.5. But no, this movie, as much as we praise it and we give little criticism, it there's no way it's anything lower than that.
No, yeah.
No. So, alright, we're at 9.75 average.
The reason why I would still consider giving it 9 or 9.25 at least is because of some of the issues that we did bring up with it.
Right.
And so that would be one of the reasons, but it's still a very high rated movie. What are we looking at? 9, 10, 9.5, so average is about 9.5 anyway.
Yeah.
So we can leave it at that. I'm okay with that.
So, yeah, 9.5, so own it, stream it, rent it, or don't bother.
I have one perfect movie and one joke perfect movie that Matt hates.
That's strange.
Velocipaster.
I hope so. They're the same one actually for me.
Okay, so
I can't.
if you have never seen this, okay, well, I'll go ahead and read it.
Alright, so they're so sorry. I want to cover a super Christian movie. Talk about Jewish people. Would love it.
And me be shady about it.
Okay. Alrighty. Well,
Jessica's stirring for a fight tonight.
Yeah, that's fine. You have your opinion. That's what we had the comments open for. But yeah, so we looking at for.
Okay, so what I was saying. If you've never seen this movie, watch it the one time.
Mm-hmm.
And then consider buying it.
Okay.
Or at least I believe this is an own it. If you've never seen it, watch it once, form an opinion there. But this is definitely an own it. I don't own it. I probably should.
Yes.
But this is definitely an own it. This is an example of a very well-made movie at a time when Disney was the
gold standard, basically.
Yeah, it was the gold standard of animation and film. There were other I want to say either Universal or Paramount was coming up because there were other films. There were other animated films at the time that were trying to reach that precipice but never could. And I'm thinking of films like Anastasia.
Mm-hmm. That's part of that was part of Amblin though, wasn't it?
I see. I don't.
It is. I love Anastasia.
Anastasia. I want to say Thumbelina is another one.
Company.
Okay. There might be another one that I can't think of. Maybe the Swan Princess is another one.
The same company.
That's also Amblin.
I believe so. I'm double checking real quick.
Okay.
So Don Bluth was kind of like I think where some of these were coming from. You have a very similar animation style amongst all of them.
Yeah,
that's why I was thinking.
Yeah,
Amblin was Don Bluth worked with Steven Spielberg, and Amblin was Steven Spielberg.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I thought, but I might be wrong.
Right.
Maybe it was Don Bluth was different.
And that's something we'll have to look into for sure.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a movie that set a standard for animation.
Oh, sorry, no. Amblin did not produce Anastasia. It was an 20th Century Fox. But Don Bluth and Gary Goldman did direct it. So maybe that's.
But it's still a Fox.
It's Fox, yeah.
Okay, it's Fox. And then I want to say Fern Gully is also Fox.
That very well.
That's early '90s. He's talking about Don Bluth and '80s stuff. This is way better. Anastasia was like mid '90s.
That was '97.
Yeah,
like
Anastasia that I remember was the '90s. The Swan Princess was like mid to early '90s. Thumbelina is also another like '90s movie that I remember. So yeah, this is an own it. Next,
Matt.
That's it. It's time to spin.
Huh?
No.
I already said own it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm gonna go with. No, I think you should absolutely own it. But I think if you haven't watched it before, then stream it. I think that it would bring up the concerns with regards to religiosity. That it would be the main reason why I would caution someone from owning it, just because of the themes that are explored in it. That said, like, that's not necessarily a bad for me, in that there's plenty of those themes explored in a lot of other movies as well, and we don't really pay attention to it. So if you want to watch it and then think like, oh, okay, this is for me, then you're gonna want to own it anyway. We did own it, I think, growing up. I definitely owned the soundtrack. So I feel like I probably own a copy somewhere that I haven't like watched in forever anyhow. But one of the reasons why we're watching it now is because it was getting ready to go off of streaming, and I would strongly recommend if you have an opportunity to watch it through streaming, do so. But because we know how streaming works in this area or in this country, it's always super hard to get a hold of anything, at least for free, that if you're going to pay for it, you may as well just buy it. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. So with that being said, and I did look up some others. So yeah, Thumbelina was '94, and that was Don Bluth. Just throwing that out there. Troll in Central Park's another movie I remembered. '94, Don Bluth again. The Swan Princess was actually kind of a new line.
Yeah, it came out at the end of '98, y'all.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. All right. So with that being said, we are ready to. I believe we're ready to spin.
Yep. Love you, babe.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready if you are ready. Wheel of morality, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right, so Matt.
A movie we haven't seen.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
We will be watching. I don't even know who's in it, so we're just gonna say the title. We're gonna watch The Creator.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, with David Washington?
Sure.
It came out last year, right?
Yeah. Had a kick-ass trailer.
Yeah.
We meant to see it in theaters.
Denzel's kid.
Yeah. We never saw it.
Okay.
But it definitely piqued our interest, we're watching The Creator.
And we're watching it next Wednesday then, so we're still doing New Year's? Oh, no, we're doing,
Yes, we're still doing everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay, but we're also going to see Sonic, too.
Yes.
Sonic
we're making a day of Wednesday.
Thank you, yes. We are going to go see Sonic also.
And Chris McKenna says, Jessica says, oh, I'm going to see it, too. Strange, of course, says Tyler, the Creator. And I also want to mention that Strange said, oh, God, I remember watching Anastasia so much purely because Brookfield Zoo had a tiger Anastasia. And then also Strange mentioned, you're right, Ari, it's a perfect film. I have 2 perfect films. I'm assuming that he's referring to Velocipaster.
Lord have mercy.
Ew.
All right.
Yeah. Wow.
So next week. Next week, New Year's Day.
Yep.
We will be reviewing
The Creator.
The Creator.
Yep.
After we go see Sonic 3.
Yes.
So that'll be a fun time. That will be
all right. So that's what we'll be doing. Like, share, subscribe for No Car Entertainment. This is Matt.
Happy holidays, everyone. Hope you enjoyed your time with your families, hopefully. And if not, then you got enough substances to get you through the rest of the holidays.
Happy Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
And this is Ari.
And this is Juice.
We're out.
I need to see Sonic 1 and 2. I hear 3 is good. I have heard 3 is good also. Even from people who have not seen the first.
I'm actually getting Ari to go to a Sonic movie in theaters, which is a leap.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and I was talking to a random bartender at Cooper's Hawk, and she's like, yeah, no, I didn't like the first one. I like the second one. I really like the third one. She went to go see it with her kid.
No.
And I'm like, oh, okay. That's kind of where I'm at right now, honestly. So, all right, let's go.
All right, right on. We love you guys. Good night.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year.